Hello again, and welcome back to Tactical Reset. In the last episode, we tackled Colosseum and got a moon medal. We didn't get the +7 overscore, but it's fine. We got this moon medal, and the important thing about this medal is that this brings us to 4 medals total. So there's a couple reasons why this was really good. One of them is that we'll eventually go back to moon and get the equipment upgrade here, which requires 4 moon medals. So we'll be able to do that and break a lot of stages with that unlock. But also, it's going to let us go into lit and get through these 4 blocks. I mean, almost no one ever goes through these 4 blocks. Everyone goes through this because plat medals are really easy to get. So um, it's not that good, but for us, it's good. Let's talk about lit. We visited lit in the past, and we just got our platinum medal here. Now we're going to return to lit. We're not going to do impure. We're actually going to do lit gate. And this is for a number of reasons. One of them is now we have these medals that we can get in here. Another one is that lit gate scores really well, so we might start to be able to do kind of more standard runs with our resources after we get through this run. And finally, this is a really tough stage. Like I see a lot of people who struggle with lit gate. I've had some requests to do this stage from Discord. Um, it's a really daunting stage. There's so many choices you can make about what to demote and promote, or not promote, but just what you're demoting, what you're leaving as is, like how you handle your equipment when you access the Nexus. And these guys just have so many stats that on gate mode, it's really easy to get outscaled, and it almost feels hopeless. Like there's just nothing you can do in this stage, and it feels like every decision you make is wrong. So hopefully this video will help you if you are struggling with lit, and probably get a ton of sunstones as well. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about what legacies we're going to use, and unsurprisingly, it's going to be Nexus Moon Folklore and Solar Elixir. But we also have Temporary Miracle, and Temporary Miracle will give us 400 attack and defense because that's our sunstones right now, and that's not that good because we only have 400 sunstones. If you had 10,000 sunstones or 20,000 sunstones, this would be a lot better. Um, a really common use of Temporary Miracle here is to kill this guy. There is on gate, there is this Guidance of the Guardian, which brings you here for 10 candles, and this lets you go to any of these locations, kind of like give you a new way around the map. So if you have more resources than I do, either uh, there's a lot of resources I'm missing, metals, magic, sunstones, unlocks, but if you have more resources than I do, it's almost always right to come here and you have to kill this Slasher and this Starberg. But killing this guy at level 1 means that you get in here, you get, I mean, these need to be paved, but you get 4 passives, 2 free and 2 very cheap. And also, you get the 4th return key, which lets you get into the Nexus. The Nexus is really important because it has this life crown. This is the only life crown on the map. This makes it so your levels are twice as good. When you take a level up, instead of getting, some HP, you get twice as much HP. So it's almost required to play the tower is to get this life crown early. There's You can also do glitch time traveler, get a glitch return key to get in there without fighting the Starberg, and that's fine too. This is what I did like on my very first runs, but it's better to kill the Starberg because it gives you so much tempo with those 4 passives, and you need all the passives you can get when you have lower resources. Some other good options here are I think you should always run Nexus Moon Folklore. Some other unlocks that are really nice to have are Metal World. That you don't get the Nexus Moon Folklore, but if you don't have that, then you can do the run on Metal World, and that's just really valuable. It's kind of interesting because you actually play this tower on defense even with Metal World. Normally with Metal World, you want attack so that you can kind of use Metal World a little bit more efficiently, but you still need defense because everything hits so hard here. Also, Omega Madoc and Solar Madoc are both really good. There's a bunch of good reclaim spots in here. Um, you're also going to see that uh, this Sun Wisher for candles is available now, and this is really good to put um, sunstones in. It lets you buy these passives in the side rooms. These are gate exclusive side rooms for this B and A. So you can buy passives that were pretty difficult to get without the Sun Wisher for these ones that cost 100, and you get the 60s pretty early with the Sun Wisher. So there's a lot of really good options that you guys have. The Bronze Wisher with the buff can also really help early game. Also, you'll notice that we don't have any mana. If you have some Goddess Feathers, you will have mana at the start, and you won't even need to use Solar Elixir to reach the same point that I am. So that's just 60% Sunstones that you can kind of spend on whatever you want. Um, you can't go wrong with orbs. You can't go wrong with Metal World, except that it blocks out the Moon Orb, so I guess you can go wrong with that. Honestly, Ultra Madoc is decent at the start because digs are limited at the start. They become infinite later on, but at the start, they're pretty rare. All right. So we don't have any of that though. So feel free to choose some comfort picks of your own if you have more resources than I do. I really think you should get Nexus Moon Folklore if you have access to that. If you don't have access to that, it's in my first video, so check that out and how to get that really easily. The reason why this Moon Orb is so important is because you can actually copy the Guidance Orb. And this Guidance Orb lets you port to the Nexus. And while the Nexus is all orb jammed, every single room is fully jammed here, or fully magic jammed, which means that you can't use the orb in a jammed room. Specifically, this room. This room is jammed, but you can use the M key to get out of this room and then use the guidance to come back to this room. So this routing didn't exist when the tower came out, but now what you can do is you can get access to all of these yellow clowns and this Eternal and then guidance out. So this is a ton of value that you'll get either for scoring or, for tempo, which you'll see what we're doing here in this run. And you need two guidance orbs to do this. So Moon Orb gets you access to all of these enemies, and it's really, really good to get in here. All right, and one more little thing I want to talk about before we get started is that I haven't actually ever finished this run. Um, since we're doing everything on stream, I have practiced this run a couple times, but there's some forced unlocks towards the mid game that I didn't want to pick up. I could, like move my legacies file and then edit it back later, like move the version back after I pick up these legacies so I kind of like unpick them up. But I really don't want to do that. I just want to do everything on stream. So I've paused my run, my practice runs at the point where I'd be forced to pick stuff up. So um, we might have to do a little bit of learning together as we go in this video. Okay, so with that said, let me load up my test save or my practice run just so I have a little bit of information so to help me do this. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up everything in here. I'm going to get my return keys from the metals. Um, I would recommend getting orbs. What I'm getting here is really important. These are the required buys. If you have more metals, which you really should, the violet key is really good for this route. The pave orb is really good. Even the swap orb is really good. That'll turn into a bunch of candles. That's all I would really. Oh, if you can afford this thing can be really good. This would change how you route the tower kind of completely, but it is very powerful. So I'm going to get these digs because of the opener that I'm doing, and I'm going to grab this candle just because I have one leftover metal. It's really not important at all. And I'm going to spend, not buy this yet because we are going to do a temporary miracle, a pretty pathetic temporary miracle, but it's one that we're going to do. So All right, I'm going to turn on that just to help me make sure I'm on track with my old save. And we're going to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is get this Guidance of the Guardian, which gives us access to this room for 10 candles, like I said. And, oh, another thing I didn't talk about is the Violet Clown. This is really important. So the Violet Clown right here, he's really hard to kill. He has a ton of stats. You can't really do anything with defense on this guy. And you can kill him on any run, but there's this tile here. This is for unlocks and also for the Violet Clown. It goes to this room right here that's just covered in this unlock, really bright, all three of these unlocks. And there's a golden feather, which there's only two of these, so this is 50% more XP, like 33% more XP when you get it at 150%. There's a spring orb, blizzard orb, and 3 glory keys back here. And these are actually Violet Clown blocks. You can't see these very well. But the only way to get here is to use a pave on this tile and banish magic, which we have here. I'll show you what this does. If you banish something with V, it paves this tile with the wrong type of pave. So now you can no longer use that tile. So if you want the goodies from Violet Clown's cache, you have to do this whole run without banishing anything. So we are going to be doing that. I'm going to undo this banish because we definitely don't want to banish him. And then we're going to go ahead and use Guidance of the Guardian. We're not going to demote this room. We're just going to leave. And then we're going to go to B. We're going to instantly demote this room. And we're going to use Glitch Sword. Honestly, Glitch Shield is better. And I was having a conversation about how to do this with one of our Discord members. And they said that you should really just go get Glitch Shield, and that's totally correct. This is really good. Defense is amazing in the mid game of this tower, but we don't have it. That'll be one of the unlocks we're getting. We try to get all the unlocks at once in this series when we can, and I think we can. So we'll be picking this one up during the run. Consider using this yourself if you have access to that. Maybe you have more mana, you can do Glitch Shield and Glitch Sword, and then you can demote way less than I do with better tempo. But we'll show you how to do this tower on a really low resource run. So we are going to go ahead and Glitch Sword. And then we kill this guy. This sequence in this first room is very important. So make sure you're doing this correctly, or you could just have more resources and just overpower this. But we have to do this very carefully. So now we're going to take a level here, and we're going to actually activate this baby miracle, because this is the only way you can get through the room at this resources without making some sacrifices that I don't want to make. If you just have a little bit of Sun Wish, you don't have to do this. There's much better plays for this miracle later. This is a pretty bad miracle. It just saves us 20,000 life, and life's kind of at a premium for us right now. So go ahead and punch this guy. Actually, before we punch this guy, we're going to activate our solar elixir to get back to positive mana, and we're going to use Glitch Brave of the Past. So this gives us 1 defense whenever we kill an enemy, and it buffs up the Brave Sword by a pretty significant amount. So we don't have that yet, but we're going to do this just so we can start stacking stats from these enemies that we kill. So we're going to hit the Shadow, level up, and we'll just go straight down this line, leveling up after we kill each of these. The Shadows give a lot of XP, so we go to the Shadows first. Okay, now we are going to punch this guy, and this takes a lot of... This guy hurts quite a bit. And we're going to punch this guy. We can't open this violet key block. If you could afford a violet key from the metal room, you should get this, because we're going to be doubling this pavement orb, so it's very valuable. We're going to be punching this guy up here, and then this thief, and this ranger, and this ranger. And we're going to punch this thief, but we need some life, so we're going to dig up these potions, and then punch this thief. And unfortunately, we don't have the stats to get these last 2 candles. 3 candles. So that's going to be all we can do for now. Get this candle right here, make sure we get everything we want. And then we're going to head out. open these yellow blocks and we'll get all of these candles in these books. This room we're not going to demote. It's pretty costly. Like, it would cost us 18 candles to demote this right now, and we don't really have 18 candles, and there's no good reason to demote it right now. So we'll go over here. Okay, from this room, we're going to grab the moon necklace, so we get more value on these drops. And we're going to pick up all of these drops, and we can get that demote magic is fine too. We're going to grab the fire knife, and we're going to grab all of these res orbs because we're going to be duplicating those with moon orb. All right, and that's all we're going to do here. Now we're going to use Guidance of the Guardian. Go to E. And you can see I use some herbs on this, so we are going to use our Nexus Moon Folklore. Okay, so for this, saving herbs is really, really good. Herbs are incredibly valuable, but this is the only way we can get through this at no resources, so I'll show you what that looks like. If you have, magic and you can do some stat casts on these guys, you can delay Glitch Brave of the Past and stat cast these guys to save herbs, that's going to be positive for you. If you have a big temporary miracle, like you miracle this guy, then miracle this guy, save some herbs, that's going to be positive for you. Having any herbs later is just really, really valuable. We don't have them though, so we got a double fire herb this guy. And we'll take these immortal potions, so we have the HP for this, even though we're about to double our HP. So we punch that guy down. And now we're going to level up twice. This is just stuff that I've done. I know that works well with this way at this resources. So then we're going to take 2 flame herbs and all 5 frost herbs. And then this guy only does 80,000 damage. So we're going to kill this guy. And then we're going to go up here. And we'll get this return key and both of these passives. And then we will go to Nexus and get the crown. And this hurts me a lot. We don't have the swap orbs to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and moon orb this. And this is the orbs that we duplicated, so you can see what that looks like. We're going to go ahead and use our guidance orb. And for 1, 2, 3, 4 swaps, you can get all of these candles, which is a pretty good deal. It gets you candles now. So this is where if you got some metal swaps, I would definitely get all of these candles. This is just like huge candle value. But since we don't have the resources, we're just going to press M and destroy all those candles. Which kind of sucks, but what can you do? Well, I'll show you how to get through it even with that. There's no reason not to pick up HP now, so we can get both these passives. We can get all the red potions. We can just grab this too. Just make our red potions better. Red, which we don't have yet, but once we get that, they'll be a little bit better. Alright, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to, since I'm not using the page in the Nexus, or the swaps in the Nexus, I'm going to go over here. We're going to swap this guy. We're going to grab all of these candles, and I'm going to swap this guy back. So that's why I couldn't swap those Nexus candles, because I wanted the swaps for that. And I'm going to go ahead and pave this as well to grab these potions, and I'm going to grab these defense cards just for some tiny value. Alright, and the reason we're doing this is we're going to be using this warp to the C2 room to get access to the right side. So we're going to be going through this room without demoting it later. So that's why we wanted to get this guy out of the way. Alright, now we're going to come back and get this violet key. And then we're going to use our Guidance of the Guardian. And we're going to go back to B. It's a little bit wasteful to do this because we've already been here. Usually you want to go new places with this to get value every time you press that, but we're going to go ahead and take all our levels on Fire Knife here. When you have more resources, it's really good if you can get to this sword necklace or even the prism shield on your starting levels, just because you get a lot more stats, and stats is the name of the game in this, but we're not going to be able to do that. So we're just going to go in here and get this sword passive, and we're going to leave these guys for later. We're going to be coming back with a Brave Sword at some point, so we're going to try to take as few kills as we can just to get a little bit more stats later on. Alright, now we're going to come down here, and we're going to unfortunately have to burn out these 6 candles because we want to pay for this passive right now. We need this 200 attack. This is another thing, if you have just a bit more like Bronze Stat Wisher, you don't have to do this. There's just 200 attack. But for us, 200 attack right now, you can see takes us from 300,000 on the shadows down to 220,000. There's 80,000 hit point discount on those. So we just need the attack, and we're also going to take this longsword. Even though we're about to level up, we want the longsword for another 200 attack. This is a really painful part of the run. What we're going to do is we're going to have to punch through these guys right here. So we're going to level up here just to get more 60 more attack, and that bring this guy down by 10,000. Then we're going to go through the middle here, punch this guy, and this is going to cost a bunch of HP, and I'm not even sure if this is totally correct, but we're going to do it. So we're going to punch through the fighter, the ranger, and the thief. The fighter, the ranger, and the thief. Burn 600,000 hit points on this for some candles, which is very painful to do, but it's okay. Alright, and now we do have to punch these guys for this red key. We'll blow out the rest of the candles. Make sure that you get all the candles you want. Looks like we do have all the candles we want. So we'll blow those out, and then we'll grab the Fate Claymore. And this is just because we need some early game tempo. We want some attacks, don't bleed out. Like again, if you have more resources than I do, you could consider skipping that, even staying on Fire Knife for these first levels just for more value. But for now, this is what we're going to do. Alright, now we're going to buy a swap orb because we're going to need it in the next room for a blue key. And then we're going to pave here, grab this Guardian's Flame, and swap this guy. Before you swap this guy, we're going to activate the bonfire. We don't really want these guys on blue keys, but we don't have the stats to go higher. You could definitely consider, if you have some Bronze Wisher or if you have access to the Torch of the Guardian, to go one higher on this, then you'll get red keys and violet keys, which will be a lot better for you. Even if you're following my route, it'll just be better, so you can do that. But we're going to do it like this. We swap for a swap orb and some candles, just a positive uptrade. We're going to go through here, and we're just going to punch through enemies that are blocking our path here. And we're going to get all the candles in these kind of center rooms right here. And that's all we're going to do for this room, or this side of this room anyway. Next, we're going to get this book just for 50 attack. So we go around and get this book for 50 attack. And now we are going to go up here. We're going to try to leave as many enemies as possible, just because it's going to be Brave Sword later on. In this room, we're not going to leave enemies because we don't want to come back here. We punch this guy, and we go up here to get this passive. Passives are always good. We're just trying to get as many passes as we can. We're going to go in here and just punch all of these enemies for their candles. This is just a really nice room to kind of refill on keys and candles, which we don't have a ton of, so we're just trying to go through here. We're using a teleport orb instead of a yellow key. Teleport orbs we're going to end up with quite a few of on this run, so I'm more inclined to spend teleport orbs when I can than the other types of orbs. Of course, you can run out too, but that will run out later on, where I won't care nearly as much. I'm going to undo this and just level up here to just to have a discount on these guys. you want, even though we just spent 600,000 HP, you still want to be as conservative as you can with your HP, like because you, trust me, you'll need it. You need every little bit of HP you can get in this stage. All right, so we'll just clear out this room, and then we're not gonna ever come back to this room, so this will be all we do here. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to go to A, but first, all right, we're going to jump in here, kill this red shadow, jump in here, take this platinum key and punch this guy because we're not going to come back to this area. And we're going to teleport to Guidance of the Guardian and teleport to A from there so that we can get those goodies but not have to pay an extra 2 jumps to leave. We're going to demote this room. This is another not great demote, but the truth is we just don't have the stats to beat 1 higher. I would love to go 1 higher on this. These shadows would just be way better for us if they are 1 higher. I'm going to go this way first and get this defense book just to reduce damage a bit. Then I'm going to go up through these guys and get the defense passive. I would buy, if I had more sunstones, I'd buy both of these defense passives right now. But I don't. If I had wished like 120 sunstones, this is where I would spend them, as I would buy these right now. All right, with that done, we're just going to, let's see, this guy we can discount him. So we'll punch the blue shadow and this guy to level up. And now we will be able to get through this guy. And this guy. Alright, and now we're just going to do minimum kills. We'll come back here eventually with Brave Sword. So I'm going to leave a lot of these guys alive. I'm just going to do it like this. Get all the candles. I'm going to want the red key for sure. And now I'm going to show you a cool trick you can do in this room. We're going to press M twice, and that's going to extinguish these candles. That lets us jump down here. So now we don't have to spend red keys to get to these goodies. We can spend less valuable keys. I'm going to grab this because I need it. And now I'm going to spend a jump and a yellow key for a swap and basically I'm spending a yellow key for a swap here by doing this, and I get a few stats out of it and the kill for XP. And then we're going to use Guidance of the Guardian again and go back to B. So again, our third trip here is a little bit wasteful, but that's okay. All right, now that we have some keys and some orbs, we are going to go ahead and grab we're going to grab one of these violet keys here. And we're going to level on Sword Necklace. And now we're going to go find 2 more violet keys, which, let's see where those are. Alright, so we're going to go this way. We're going to swap this Kronberg out of the way. We're going to grab this attack book. We're going to swap this Final Slasher this way. Get this candle, swap this Final Slasher. And now we'll have access to our starting room again. So we're going to now demote this room. We swap here, jump this guy. We can pave to get access to this wisher or bonfire. And now this demote is really good because it gives us access to these violet shadows. And we need a lot of violet keys. We're going to be going to the Brave Sword, and that needs, I think this is 12, 13, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 violet keys. And we're also grabbing this Prism Shield. So let's grab this Pulse Book for 50 attack. And then we will get this Prism Shield. Get this Prism Shield. Alright. And now with Prism Shield, we're going to be taking a lot less damage. We can start to build up our defense. So we're going to be going down this way. We're just going to take levels on Prism Shield here. We're going to go off to... We can dig for some stats when it makes sense to do so. I would prefer the Thief, actually, over that guy. That was a misplay from last run. Alright, we'll dig up some stats. Okay, that all looks good. And then in this room, this is something where if you were able to demote those rooms I said earlier and you had more violet keys, you wouldn't have to come in here for violets. You could just skip this room's demotions for now. But we're going to need some violets. So we jump over this guy and demote this room. And now we are going to just dig up stats. These stats are pretty efficient to dig up. Alright, I'm going to go through the slashers. I'm going to dig up these stats. Gonna get the defense book. And then we're going to punch this guy so we can dig up the candles. And we're going to punch this guy to dig up these stats. And this guy, level up. Alright, we're going to get all the candles in this room. Which is these. And we'll take some damage on this. And this guy. And we'll pay 40,000 life for those 3 candles. Next, we are going to be going up here. And this is another demote that I'd love to not do, but we need this defense passive. You just need passives to scale through this level, so we're going to be getting them. Alright. So we're going to go this way first, and we're going to pave for our passive. 300 more defense. Alright, and we're going to dig up stats, and now we'll go get this book, dig up stats. And let's see, we just want to get all of these candles down here. So that looks like this. Alright, now we're going to go up to these guys. We're going to dig these candles. Get this book. Could have gotten that book earlier. It should be fine. Alright. Let's see, I'm just looking at what we want to get here. I want to get this defense card. I want to get these digs. I want to get these digs. I guess I want to take that guy now. Alright, I think that's all I want to take for now. Okay. Now we are going to grab all the violet keys. So even though these guys are zeroed, we're not going to fight them yet. I'm going to fight this guy because I want to get up here. I'm going to grab this defense where it makes sense. I should have dug those stats up earlier. Okay. I just wanted those stats. And I need to get this violet key. And let's see here. I'm just going to check the violet key situation. The next thing I'm going to do is get the brave sword. So I need all the violet keys for that. Alright. Alright, so I think that is everything. And that means that the next thing we do is we head to the brave sword. So before we do that, we need to buy orbs from here. I'm just going to buy all of these. then just making sure we have everything we need. Okay. All right, we have what we need. Next, we're going to fight this guy. We're going to jump in here for the jump and the blue key, and we're going to use the blue key here for the swap orb for more orbs. And we're going to use our Guidance of the Guardian from this room to go to E. So this is what I was saying, where we're going to use this to access the right side of the top. We'll swap this Star Thief here to steal this blue key and have access. Now we have access from here down this way. We'll go ahead and demote this room. And we'll be coming back for these violet keys later, but for now we're just gonna go around this way and get everything. Get these candles first. Get these candles first. Make sure we get all the candles. And then we're actually going to use 3 paves right here for some candles, and also we get a pave and a violet key, and also our access to this later on. So those are good paves to spend. And that is it for this room. We'll be coming back later. We demote this room. You should probably try to find a way to demote less than I'm doing, just because if you have more resources. This is a pretty optimized demote route for the resources that we have, but most of you should have more resources than this doing this. Otherwise, just feel free to follow exactly what I'm doing. We're going to skip this attack passive for now. We'll be coming back later. This room costs a lot of life to get through. So this is also a great room to not demote. You can get through here with like a pave, a swap, like 2 paves and 2 swaps will get you through the middle of this, which is really good because there's just so many chronicle enemies that gives a ton of XP. But we're going to demote it, and then we're going to spend a bunch of life to get all of the candles in here because we need them. And right now, let's see, we want to go like this. The rangers are the cheapest, so we're going to try to maximize the rangers that we fight on our way to the corners to grab these candles. So that looks like this. The slashers and the fighters are basically the same for us right now. But we want to maximize rangers when we can. So that looks like this and this. Alright, so we get all the candles from the floor. We're going to need this Guardian's Flame because the next room we want to demote 1 less. And the reason for that is because the next room has little platinum shadows, and we need these demoted to violet shadows. So we're forced to demote this room like this, so we do. And this is where we are going to be running precariously low on hit points. So we're just going to be going around this room. And I need to get all the candles, and I need to get the violet keys. So that is what we are going to be making sure we get. And there is all the candles and the violet keys. And that is all we are doing in this room for now. So let's move on. We'll be demoting this room as well. All right. So I did choose to pay 100,000 for these 3 candles last time. So I will do that now as well. It's in the budget, even though that hurts. It's a really painful trade to make, and I'm paying 100,000 for these candles as well, and 100,000 for these candles, but not for these candles here, because that's more than 100,000. That's 200,000. It's already questionably worth. Okay, now we'll go down here. And we're going to get these 2 attack books. And now the next thing we're going to be doing is getting we'll open that 50 candle cache for the violet key. And now we can go back through here and we're going to get all the violet keys from this area. So what that looks like is we open these 2 red doors for violet keys. Then we're going to pave this. And we're going to punch this guy. And we're going to punch this guy so we have access over here. And then we jump up here, get the immortal. We'll punch this guy for fun. And we're going to pave this guy to get this violet shadow. And we'll go ahead and jump out. Alright, so that's the 13 violet keys we need for the Brave Sword. Once you get to Prism Shield and Brave Sword, you'll find that the run is a lot easier. Like this one, from this point, we have this defense from the Brave Sword too. Our stats go way, way higher. This is the point where you should begin to feel that the run is like from just impossible and you have no options to like, okay, I see how we're scaling up this tower. So let's make a save here. Alright, so now that we have the Brave Sword and our save, we're going to go around and look for free enemies to kill. Everything that we left behind we can just take now. And this will, pay off because we can get these stats, which we desperately need. Nothing in here. Alright, and I think that's everything, is those free enemies. And with that, we will be... Oh, we do want this passive right here, so let's grab that. And now we'll just go ahead and guidance back to the start. This ammo is free. This ammo is not free yet. We don't want that. Let me make sure I didn't get that. Okay, good. So we'll go ahead and use guidance back to B. And we're going to shift D through all these rooms now. We're going to just take all the free kills we can get. We can dig up these stats and keep looking for free kills. More free kills, more free kills. We can get these to the pops since we're not going to use the pops for anything else. We can just grab those early for minor stat saves. Alright, these fine fighters are almost zeroed, so they're going to be my next target. They're going to be free soon. I'm going to punch these down here to get these dig stats. There's one in the C1 room that gives these stats. Alright, nice. So we have the fighters neutralized now. We could have gotten these guys first. We lost a couple hundred HP on that. It's okay. More fighters to fight. Dig these stats. Fight that Berg. And I think I'm going to want to fight all of these Bergs for stats. These Rangers are almost zeroed, so I'm going to... And I think the Slashers are possible to discount at least. These Rangers are not. Nor are those, nor are the Breakers. Alright, we are going to want to demote this room. I should have done this a little bit earlier, but that's okay. So, well, I don't want to demote this room, but it is a room I'm going to demote because I need candles, and um, the violet keys are actually really nice. We don't need them for anything in particular, but they allow me to buy some of the stuff like the passives and stuff since I spent so many on the Brave Sword. I'm just kind of out of them. So I definitely will take those violet keys. Let's get the fighter first. I'm going to be coming up here and punching through these guys. I think I want to level up first. I can level up off of these rangers. And... okay. Yeah, that gives me a decent discount over here. So we'll punch through the fighters, and the ranger. Alright, and that's it for this room. Let's go see if we have anything else zeroed now. These birds are zeroed, nice. So we can shifty through birds. Alright. These guys are discounted in 160 attack, so we can probably do that. We can come through here. This is very questionably valuable. I mean, I'm actually thinking we shouldn't do that at all, but it's okay. Alright, these guys are getting discounted, so let's wait on the slashers. I was just going to punch everything that's not a slasher. We should be able to get those down to... is that a slasher I punched? We can get the slashers down. .45 attack on the slashers. That should be one level up. Do we only have slashers left? We can punch these guys for a level up. Now they're discounted. We can take all the slashers now. A little bit of managing TRTs is nice because we're going to get really, really low um, on HP at certain points in the run. So we're going to basically need all the HP that we can get. Alright, we have some slashers in here. This should level us up. Nice, that's level 58. With level 58, we'll punch through this guy, the C1 Berg, and we will come through here. Alright, and before we come in here actually, slight undo. Get these orbs. We're going to need these orbs to get through this area right here. Alright, so this room is a great room to demote because it gives you access through the whole tower basically, but it's also a great room to not demote because there's 4 Kronbergs in this room, so it's a ton of XP that you lose if you demote this room. So we're going to use a couple swaps and a couple paves to get through here. Swap the breaker down here, the ranger up here. We will see if there's a better way to do this. I don't think so. I could use 2 more swaps instead of a pave. I think I do want to do that. Two swaps for 1 pave. This is questionable, but we'll try it. I always run out of paves in the low resource lit run. So 1 more swap on the Kron Ranger. And now we will go through here, spend a blue key, and demote this room. This demote, it's looking like it's almost not worth it anymore because these enemies are already zeroed. The way you want to think about lit is if you're ever fighting zeroed enemies, you're probably not demoting enough because you want to be pushing your demotes a little bit harder so that you can get more XP and more resources. So we're getting very, very close to that point, but we're not there yet. All right. We are going to, let's see. I want to discount this guy by 1 if I can. Let's see if we have that here. No, 32. So we need to get 32 more attack, which is just those. And now we will punch this guy for the swap, or for the pave and for the candles. And now we're going to go up here. I talked about this on the first lit video, but you always come into this room and get that 50 defense. There's no candles in this room, so there's no reason not to, once you get all the candles in this room. This is another room with a ton of Kronbergs. So we don't want to demote this room. We can get through here with a few swaps. And hopefully I have the swaps since I spent them earlier. And it looks like I will. So one swap on this final ranger. And then one more swap on the final ranger is all my swaps. But we'll have the option to get some more swaps in this next room that I think we're going to take. So we demote this room as well. This is a good room to skip the demotion on if you are... let's see. You know, I think I can get this... I can grab this right now. Because I saved a pave, so I think this will work out. We'll see if it doesn't. But this should save me some HP. It's with that saved pave from earlier. Alright, we're going to be going through this room. And that'll let me level up before fighting this guy, which will give me a discount to his... Is that a discount? That's not a discount. Alright, let's not hit this guy. We'll just take it on this guy. I am going to spend the keys on the sides to buy these candles and these orbs. I need both of them. There's going to be a... No reason to punch this guy. I'm going to do it like this. Save like 3 damage. There's a candle breakpoint that's coming up that I am really worried about, I guess. It's, I'm going to try to buy 2 passives, so I need 120 candles the next time I visit the main area. So I'm trying to acquire as many candles as I can for that purpose. Again, this is a great room to skip the demote on if you have more resources than I do. Fine to take that kill now. Alright, moving down here. Alright, we have just enough swaps to make it through here. So I think the orb budget's going to work out exactly. I really hope I'm right. Hope I'm not lying to you guys. Then get another of these defense passives. The defense passives are really, really important on Lit Gate. And we have just enough swaps to get out of here. So I'll swap this guy too. Get all of these candles. Okay, we made it with the swaps. Okay, it looks good. This room, we are just going to send a demote, and this is definitely getting to that point that I said where these demotes are not aggressive enough. There's not a good option for this room, though, right now. You know, if you guys are following along and you have more HP and it feels like these rooms are even more zeroed than what you're seeing from me, then feel free to just demote less. There's in rooms that don't have keys, it's perfectly fine to just skip demotes. I'm going to try to get all these candles. Like I said, I am trying to get a candle breakpoint, so I value candles more than keys right now. All right, we're going to go down here. And I'm going to... Let's see, do I even need to buy this at all? I don't think I do, not yet anyway. I'm going to go down here and do one more bad demote. So let's go ahead and demote this room. Nice to see everything zeroed in here. So we'll double pave in here and 2 reds for this defense passive. And then we'll kill everything here that's free. And we don't have to get in there yet. That is all fine. Thinking about this, I don't think I need this yet either. This is a good pave to do, but I think we can delay that because I am trying to hit this candle breakpoint. Okay, that's all fine. I'm going to look for free kills and take them. I'm going to do an undo here, sorry. Those enemies in there need to be killed now. We don't have a chance to come back for these enemies, so I am going to just... I mean, we could with a pave or 2 jumps, but we are not necessarily going to have those later. I don't know what the budget's going to look like at the end game. So we'll go ahead and just kill those now. Take a little bit more damage. That's okay. Alright. We're back on track now. Don't even need to kill that guy yet, honestly. We can discount him more. Same thing in this room. Everything's gonna be the exact same, just with those enemies taken. Try to dig this stuff up quick. Demote this room again. I'm just shifting through here. There's a level up I can take before this guy. Have to take a little bit of damage on these enemies. That's okay. We want the candles. Alright, and we're gonna come down here. Yeah, come down here. One more demote in this room. We can 2 paves and 2 reds to get this defense passive. Alright, and we can come back for this stuff later. I don't want to buy the paves just because Um, just make sure there's just those candles. I don't want to buy the paves because I'm trying to hit this candle breakpoint like I'm talking about earlier. Okay, these are a lot cheaper now. I'm gonna get one more demote magic so I'm ready to move up to the next tier. Demote this room. I just want to start getting more. It's not the yellow key that I need. It's just I want to start getting more XP from these rooms so I can not fall behind the leveling curve. In one more blue key, I can... Yeah, we can get this. In this blue key here, we can get another passive and lower the damage from this room a bit. So let's head back here. 9 blue keys for that defense passive. And now let's punch this guy. These slashes are almost zeroed. That's great. Um, that's not getting cheaper. Slashes are zeroed. Alright, that looks great. And we are ready to go back to the right side. After these slashers. I can punch these guys, spin those yellow keys. Just get a bit more stats before I go over here. Alright, back to the right side. These are still, I mean, we could punch those blue guys, but we don't have to. We're just going to look for more free kills. We have a ton of free kills over here to increase our stats. We have the 2 violet keys we need for this attack passive. We can shift E through this room. Ton of stats that we can get from all these kills. I have a block HP disabled once you have the 200% multiplier. There's no real reason to keep HP blocked. I'm fine picking that up. Normally it's good to leave those on the ground because you don't know if you want to demote fewer for like a key breakpoint or because you can't break something or you can't beat the enemies that you promoted a bit higher and then you're sad and you have to undo. But I'm pretty certain that I am fine picking that up. Alright. Thinking about my candle situation now. And I can buy a red key. And I think I'll still have the candles I need for this. Alright. Alright, we'll jump in here and then we'll use Guidance of the Guardian to get back to B. Or sorry, not to B. We actually use Guidance of the Guardian to go to A. And while we're here, we're going to buy 2 of these. It leaves us with 30 candles. So the cancel resistance dire. I'm going to use a jump on this to save 10 candles. And then I'm going to check for free enemies. I think it should just be the enemies in this area here that I'm actually just going to take. Alright, and now we're going to head directly back in and pay 5 candles to go back to the left side. I'm ready to kill these enemies now. And I'm ready to kill these enemies. I'll take that level up. And now we are going to go into this room. And we'll leave it at this demote. So these enemies are quite painful. Alright, let me just make sure I'm doing this the way I want to. This is looking a little bit more painful than what I want. Alright, it's fine. Let's just do it. We're not going to pick any of the keys up in this room. We're going to, basically, we need these keys for later. We're going to freeze all of these keys for the Violet Clown much later in the run. Just want to check how much damage I'm taking from these. Yeah, I'm just a little bit behind. I'm not sure. Not sure why that is, but I think it'll be okay. Oh, those thieves hit pretty hard. I didn't love that. Let's see. Alright, let's take all these free mobs. Maybe I should have taken these before I went to that room. Those thieves hit really hard. $160,000. Okay. Alright, we'll make it work. Don't worry about it. We don't actually have the Pave Despair with that yet. We're coming to this room now, and I'm going to demote this room. I always hate demoting rooms, but this has this defense passive that I really want down there. So I'm going to go get it. I think maybe in my last run I went to the other side and got one more, I got this attack passive before coming in here. Is probably what happened, why I'm taking a little bit more damage than I'm used to. I'm not sure what the better sequence is. I'm definitely getting kind of owned over here, but I'll be getting owned less over there once we get there. So let's just run it. I think this makes sense to me, what I'm doing. These Berg hits hit so hard. This is incredibly painful. I definitely want all these candles though. We run out of candles in this run. Let me get these, just hit these free enemies on the way over here. Try to reduce damage just a little bit more. Okay, 400,000. Not looking great, but, I am okay with this. Alright. Do we want this plat key now? Let's see. Oh, it was this here. I'm gonna undo this. Sorry, before we go into this room, um, this'll save a ton of HP, and this will also be, even though this is an undo, which we hate, this will be a really good demonstration of why passives are so important. So we're gonna punch these starfighters and take a little bit less damage actually, and I'm gonna spend a couple jumps for these candles, and then I'm gonna swap here. And then I'm running out of jumps, so I'm going to press M. That'll destroy these candles. And I'll do a swap and a swap here. So that strands these enemies on the side, but we don't need them. And this gives us these two passives. So now that we have these passives, we're going to do this room again. I'm going to swap this guy. And now everything is doing so much less to us. We're going to head straight to this passive down here. Get the passive. And now we're going to be looking to get all the candles in this room. So this is a really good demonstration. You're going to see, we're going to end this room probably a few 100,000 HP healthier than what it was before. And, right, so we're at 1,000,000 now instead of 600,000, about 400,000. So this is a really good demonstration that if you guys can afford 60 candles from the Wisher and nothing else, just do the exact same run, but have mana at the start from Goddess Feathers instead of the Soul Elixir and buy some Candle Wisher, you're just going to be in one room. We made 600,000 life. Well, there were two passives there, so it's not quite as much as that, but passives are really important. Starting resources are really important. Alright, sorry for the undo though. That'll be marked in the video, of course. And now we are going to head over to the right side. And let me take a look at what I want to do here. I have this blue key now, so let's go ahead and open up this, grab the ammo. We need this HP pretty badly, and a few kills in there that we want. Shift E through this room for stats, Shift E through this room for stats. And now we are ready to enter this room. Alright, so we're going to be going up a tier after this room. Before I go in here, let me buy this pave so I can get this passive in here and reduce the HP I take a little bit. can shift E through three free enemies. We can pave the passive. And let's see. All right, and now I'm just going to be taking all of these legendary slashers. We actually lose attack when we level up because we're at the end of our glitch sword. So I was trying to get 24 attack for these guys, which is, we almost have it. Honestly, we can just punch these general breakers. They're not really discounting. Now we'll just punch all these guys for 25,000. Well, they might discount. Anyway, we're going to kill these guys. 45 attack is pretty achievable on those. This is just the candles in the blue rooms that he's blown out, so that's fine. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we need to get all these kills for stats, but this costs us 15 candles to get to. And looking at the Nexus here, the Starfighters are almost done. The Thieves are totally out of range. The Final Fighters are actually getting close. Getting the Final Fighters to 0 will be a big break point in the run. I'm going to kill this guy now, and then I'm going to honestly just take these guys. When I go in here, this is a star tier room now. So this is a little bit scarier and more powerful than rooms that we've done so far. Alright, I'm not going to do this yet. I think it looks like we are going to want to farm out that other side room before we hit the star tier, because it's going to do a lot of damage to us. So we'll use a jump orb in here, a jump in a blue, and then let's see. I did this a lot later. Alright, I don't care. This is fine. I need to get back to the other side. Um, this is super wasteful when you have to keep on paying 15 candles to go between sides, but the alternative is either use a banish in here, which really messes this up, or it's a lot of paves. Like you have to spend pave here, and then you can swap. You need to swap the Berg up here, and you need to swap the Thief over here, pave the tile, pave here. It's pretty tough to pave through and get access here without banishes. So paying 15 candles is the best way that I've found. If you have a better way, let me know, either in Discord or in the comments. I'd love to hear better routing through here. All right, I am now willing to buy this pave orb and pay the pave to get here. I still don't have this blue key. I don't think I care. I'm willing to spend this swap and this red key to get in here. I don't want to pick up that key. Let me make sure I didn't pick up a key. I don't want to pick up the plat key either. Make sure you don't pick up any keys in this room. Alright, and now I'm going to fully clear this room. I'm just going to kill everything here. I'm going to take a bunch of levels, and then I'm going to avoid these keys and head back to the other side. All right, final fighters are almost done. I'm going to open these yellow doors now. I'm going to want those kills and those MOs later. So now we're going to be level 100. All right. And we're back here. 15 candles poorer, but quite a few levels higher. Now, hopefully these guys are a little bit more manageable. And the final fighters are zeroed now. I'm going to take these rangers for candles. I'm not going to pay 200,000 for a slasher yet. I'm going to level up here. And I'm going to go down here. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to just kill this fighter. Okay. Now I'm going to demote this room to start here. This is a great room to not demote because um, actually, hold on. Before I go to this room, sorry, I'm going to get a pave from the Nexus, which looks like this. Punch through these violet shadows for 300,000. And then we're going to swap, steal these heavenlies, and we're going to swap this pave and get this pave. We'll get this pave later from the Cron Slasher, so we're not going to lose anything here. And then now with the pave in hand, I'm going to go down here, demote this room, and we are going to just go through here taking levels. Don't kill that slasher over there. Just go through the fighters. The red shadow's good because he's zeroed, so he's pretty good to take. Alright, this is looking great. Slashers are almost in a reasonable spot. Fighters are zeroed. We can get all of these candles. Again, I would love to not demote this room. It's awesome to not demote. You get a bunch of Kronbergs and other Kron enemies. But, you know, when you have low resources, you have to demote something. And this is just what we've chosen to demote. These candles are too expensive. That thief is not realistic. But I think slashers are realistic now, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take all these rangers. I want to level up one more time. Let me see what it looks like up here. This slasher, then we can get these two fighters. This guy is 600,000. Alright, so let's look at final fighters. That's the other thing we have to think about. These are almost done. Alright, so probably what we're going to do is we're going to use our res orbs and go through these Starbergs just to get in this area for more XP. So let's just punch the Starberg. And we'll punch this Starberg too. Well, let me think about this. Let me think if there's a better option. Let's look at final fighters. 90,000 on these. Alright, we can level up here. And let's look at final fighters again. Still 70,000 on these guys. I'm willing to pay 70,000. Let's go punch those final fighters now. We only have access to 2 of them, but they're almost almost a level just from those 2 guys. This MO is free. We should have taken that earlier. Um, This guy's reasonable. Alright, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pay... I don't have the yellows for this guy right now, but I could get them down here. Well, I get one of them anyway. This guy's 200,000. I still have all 8 res orbs, so I'm just trying to be efficient about this. We're not actually close to death. We're actually in a pretty good spot with the final fighters almost neutralized. I'm going to go back to the starting area, and I want to punch through all these final fighters here. This is like 2 levels that we can get from these guys and these guys. Yeah, that'll help us with the Nexus a lot. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to take here before I go back. And I think the answer is very little. I think I'm ready to just spend one more set of 15 candles, go back to B. I can actually buy this pave orb now. I'm going to take these final fighters. I'm going to take these final fighters. Alright, I also want to get up here, but we don't have the stats for that room yet. Okay, so here's a blue key. We'll go through here one more time. We have final fighters to punch in this room. You can see the Kron fighters are... They're not reasonable yet, but they're getting there. Make sure you don't pick up any keys when you go through this room. I just want these kills. Already cleared this place out. Alright, now we will pay res orbs and go in here. I just need to farm out this start here. It's got to be done. 2 more res orbs to get in here. And now that we have access to all of this start here to fight and farm out, we can farm the slashers now. Alright, looking good. We still have 5 res orbs. Burn 1 more res orb on the Berg to get in here. Farm out the start here and here. Should have gotten that book earlier. Alright. So final fighters are surely zeroed. Kron fighters are only 3,000 attack or defense away. All right. So we are just going to... We're going to farm out all of these Starbergs. I'm going to grab these badges now. And I'll just burn through my res orbs on these Starbergs. Still have 2 left. We'll swap the thief away. We're going to take this badge. I'm going to farm the star tier in this area. All the star tier. Take this badge. And now I'm going to move on to the Nexus. We finally reached a point where I feel comfortable being over here. Take this badge. We'll be farming out... We should be able to go pretty quick now. Star slashers are neutralized. Final slashers are getting there. These guys are at 130,000. I'm going to pay some candles here. Going to pay for this Plat Shadow. Alright. Kron fighters are almost done. We're going to pay for these Plat Shadows. I'm going to pay for these 10 candles since I'm running low on them. It's just a swap and a jump. Alright, I'm going to pour it out. I'm going to kill everything in here. It all dies. And now you can see we are slowly but surely outscaling this tower. We're getting really close to where the pain is going to end. Alright, I think the next thing that I want to do is just in the Nexus. So, armed with those 2 res orbs, we're going to go up here. I think we're going to kill something else first. Let me think about what I want to... I want to get these final slashers down and farm these guys out. So I think that means we have to go one more trip back to the main area. Okay, let's do it. I'm not going to kill that final ranger yet. Alright, I'm going to kill these Kron fighters. I don't know why they're more expensive than they were before for me, but I'm going to kill them. Now I am going to kill... I think I'm comfortable killing final slashers now. Alright, we'll kill in this area. And there's more Kron fighters. You can see these Kron fighters are a really good deal. They're getting better and better. I'll use that blue key just to get in there. I'm not going to demote this room up here, so I'm not quite ready for this, but we're getting close. Alright, we're going to There we go. Kron Slasher's looking good now. Fight the Ranger just to get to the fighter. I'm gonna kill all the final slashers down here. I still have these res orbs, remember, so we have options. Alright, we're gonna go up here now. We're gonna swap the candle. We're gonna kill everything. Let's see. Using the res orbs. I don't have to kill the ranger now. We'll be back for that. I'm going to swap the thief across to hit this switch. This area I do want to clear because I don't think I'm coming back here. So let's see if we can do that. Alright, that's our last res orb. Think I'm okay with that. And hopefully we've hit the point where HP goes up instead of HP go down. And with final slashers killable, I think we have reached that point. Okay. So the next thing we have to do is beat this Kronberg right here. And we don't quite have the HP for him. We need 60,000 more, which is just another level up that we have to get from somewhere. And we're getting it from here. And from here. With Kron Fighters zeroed, I should be able... You know, let's undo this. I think that these Starbreakers are not realistic to fight now. We have Kron Fighters that we can fight instead. Alright. One more enemy to level up, and then we'll fight that Kronberg in the Nexus. Just this guy, we can get the Kron Fighter after. Go here, hit the Kronberg. Get all these candles, that's really nice. And now we are... Yeah, we'll just go to Dreamer Room. Right here. And we'll swap for this defense passive. 2 swaps and 2 jumps. And now we're going to walk towards Dreamer. Taking a big hit on the way there. And we're going to take free enemies. Alright. We have the plat keys we need. The next step is just killing Dreamer. And to do that, we are going to just need to take some levels. So Dreamer gives a 50% feather, which means that we want to take as few levels as possible going into him. However, his stats are really high, so it's kind of unrealistic to kill Dreamer before a certain point. And that point is what I found in this run is that I want to be level like 193 before I enter Dreamer area. So we're at this point where our stats are high enough that we can punch Kron tier and we kind of get the HP back, which means that the run is won. And from here on out, it's just a question of How high can we greed? And we're going to get this defense passive, and we're going to kill all the enemies in here. These final thieves hurt a lot. We might be a bit too early here. I'm just going to take it. It's extremely painful, but it's okay. Alright, we can clean up everything here later. Um, let's see. Let's hunt down here. It looks like I came in from the south last time. That would have made a lot of sense to get some more mobs. Um, it's fine though. Okay, we're looking to get just level 193. So what else can we farm for 193? It just doesn't matter too much what we pick, but this guy has a pave orb. Let's get that. And this is why not demoting is so valuable, because it lets you have all these high tier enemies. Now that we are able to kill these high tier enemies, we're really happy that we left this room undemoted. All right. $190, $193. That's what we're aiming for. I'm gonna just farm out these cron enemies. You can see the final tier is completely neutralized. 192, 193. All right, let's do Dreamer. So I'll show you what that looks like. This is just trial and error that I know that 193 is a good level to do this. There's not anything that's particularly magic about this. We are going to take a lot of damage from Dreamer and his cronies, so we're going to need a certain amount of HP and levels. We're going to swap our Prism Shield for a Celt. Just keep taking levels. One more Celt. Punch the Agent. And was this too early? Let's see. All right, we are too early by... Looks like I would needed 3 more levels, so let's try 190... Let's try 195. So just undoing here. 194. 195. Let's try 195. Use our Blaze Herb, and that's fine. That's perfect. So 195 was the level we wanted. Now we have Dreamer dead, and we can grab his mana with a swap and a jump, and then we're going to head directly to his feather. Okay, and then we're going to get a little bit cheesy here. What we're going to do is we're going to swap to Life Claymore, and we need to buy some keys to make this happen. I'm going to spend some candles on yellows. One more yellow buy, and now we're going to get all of this. Override the Brave Sword with a Life Claymore. And this is a little bit bad to do, and the reason is because um, the life claymore has a lot of value for the rest of the tower, but we're going to use this extra guidance orb right now, and this will get us. You're gonna see why we wanted this guidance orb now, basically. All right, we need one more teleport orb. Those are around. I'm not sure which one we're gonna want exactly. Um, let's see. Probably it's one of these that I want. Oh man. All right. You know what? Let's just go ahead and pay. Let's pay 3 plats here, and let's pay 1 plat here. This might be a bad choice on the plat spend. I actually don't want to spend a plat there. I really don't want to spend that. Is this going to be a dreaded undo? I think this has to be an undo, unfortunately. All right, so before I buy that, we're going to grab. We're going to pay for two jumps. And now we're going to go to the right side shop. We're going to buy 2 yellow keys. We're going to buy our life claymore. Then we're going to go back to Dreamer Room. We're going to use a reclamation orb here. This will get us this crown helmet now, which we want for the yellow clown room. And this will let us get the Oath of Ice with the creative way later. So here we go. We're going to take this and our 2 jumps, and we're going directly back over here. We're jumping over here. We're going to just punch these guys down, and we're going to jump to the yellow clown room. All right. So in the yellow clown room, these yellow clowns have insane stat lines. They have 60 million hit points. So even though we're going to be swapping off the life claymore and lose a bunch of value, we're getting a lot of value now. And this will take our HP up 15 million every time we punch one of these things. And there's an Eternal here, so we'll grab this Eternal. And now we have 200 million hit points. Okay, now we're going to... This is why we needed that Guidance Orb earlier. Let's get this Blizzard Orb. We're going to need this. Now we're going to use the Guidance Orb, and now we're back at the start, out of that locked room that we had no way out of. Okay, and now, with all of this HP in hand, we're going to head directly to the Violet Clown. And we can get this Blessing from Heaven. We don't have Blessing from Heaven yet, but we have the device for it. So we're going directly to the clown. I'm going to have minimum kills because we'll have a lot more XP after we get to the clown. We are going to have to just go through here. We have to clear a path to the clown, like this. Now we have to... Alright, that's fine. We're going to use a pave to get through here. I'm sick of paying the candle tax, so we're just going to have access now that we can kill those enemies. Alright, and now we have to do... So we're still setting up for the clown. We need to get in here. And we have to kill the blue clown for lotus shoes. And that looks like this. You just use these 10 candles, and you have to go through each one of these. You get some mana in the process. So it's a little candle tax you have to pay for the blue clown. All right, and then we're going to pay one more time. And we get this, we get a medicine dictionary for blue, which is, that's not the unlock, I don't think. I think that's a device for it. No, it is the unlock. We actually got the unlock, so we can use that now. It's a bit expensive. We're not leveling up because the crown makes our HP 0, so we don't get any value from level up right now. All right, and now we need, we actually need another jump orb, tragically enough. So before we go, I'm going to undo just slightly here. We're going to go get another jump orb from here. Now we're going to go to the blue clown. We're going to kill him, take his lotus shoes. Lotus shoes let you walk on water, and importantly, they let you jump onto water. So we have to pay candles to get through here. So we can jump up here to get the Oath of Ice. We just kind of like cheat our way in here. We don't have to pay the glories or another reclaim. We grab the Oath of Ice and we jump down here. We pay candle taxes. We're forced to do this. And then we get to the Violet Clown. We'll take all our levels right now. And you can see we can't really damage him very much. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab this cane. And now this guy hits for 500 million. So he would defeat us. But we don't have our ice keys yet. Now we're going to go get our ice keys, which is why we had to save all of this from earlier. All these keys which we would love to have had. So we'll go ahead and freeze this room with a blizzard orb. We get 10 ice keys. That will cut this guy's damage down to 50 million. And our stat casts for the rest of the run are Aurora, Last Oath, and whatever we don't use there, we can use on the Violet Clown. So I don't have Brave because we haven't done Final Tutorial yet. So I won't have access to this. You guys will almost certainly have that magic. You get it very early. Unless you're following my reset series as your progress, then you will have that magic. And you just cast on the Violet Clown a bunch. You just budget mana for Last Oath, however much it costs you, and your Shining Aurora, and anything else just spend on reducing this guy's damage. It's really good if you don't have to do that leech on the yellow clowns with this. I did, because otherwise it's really hard to kill the Violet Clown like on time when you still have enemies left. So let's kill him. We just take the 50 million. That's why we had to leech all that. It hurts, it sucks, but it's what we're going to do. We'll take this Forgotten Warmth. That's just a magic we have that can melt ice stuff around us. Alright, and now... Also, if you guys have Summon the Winter, you can make it so those ice keys don't melt, and then you can get a lot of value by using them in other places than Tower. We don't have that option, since we don't have access to that magic yet. It's in Dawn. We haven't done Dawn yet. So all our ice keys melt, and that's just how it is. And we're going to go directly back to the Dreamer. And now we're going to pave our Violet Clown Square. And now we can get into G. So this gives us a Guidance Orb to leave the room. We get Tactical Mystery Gate, which is good, that has some devices we want, even though we don't actually have the... We can't actually solve the mystery there yet. We're going to get these devices for stuff we don't have. We're going to get the feather, and we're going to get 3 glory keys and some orbs. We're going to leave, use this to bring us back to the start of the Nexus. And now our goals are we're gonna make a save here. And actually, let me see. Do I have my Dreamer kill still? There's one thing I wanted to do before Dreamer. Alright, so after I kill Dreamer, it doesn't matter if it's when this is actually. I have my save, so I'm just gonna get an unlock, one more unlock that I'm missing. Um, we're gonna go. I think we need it's 23 platinum keys or something. So we're just gonna get 25 platinum keys. We just get one more unlock here. So that's gonna be right here. This is last inflator K. We don't have gate for K yet, but we're gonna just we're short too. All right, let's just you know, let's see. We can just get this real quick. Um, we can grab that plat key. There's some more. There's even one right here in this room. Um, all right. We got plat keys. There we go. That's K unlocked. All right, let's load our save now. All right, other unlocks I want to do are, let's see, there's a root. I think we can just punch this guy. He drops last inflator D, so let's just punch him. There's D. We're not ever killing that guy for real, so we don't have to worry about optimizing that. We got his drop. All right, so the next thing is we will need to get this ever blooming necklace because we want to have something to dump levels onto. And let me make another save here. And okay. So looking at which unlocks that I want, it's all of them. These are the only three remaining. And I think this rune unlock is bugged. I don't think this is here. The only map unlock I know of is still this choice one behind this other Violet Clown. So I'm pretty sure this is in Phil, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I don't remember. I'm just gonna assume that this is a fake unlock. I remember hearing something about it being bugged, but I don't remember the exact details of this. We're definitely gonna get the Guardian Shield. That's something we could have gotten even earlier. And choice will be something we get at the end. So I think we are just in cleanup mode. So we're gonna level without a weapon because since our resources are kind of low, we're not gonna have the platinum keys for this Azure. And let me see. We could grab the Fire Blade just for 10 attack per level. This will be like 1,000 attack for 2 red keys. So I suppose that's worth doing. So we will grab the Fire Blade, and most stuff should be zeroed. So we're gonna just actually just shift you through the tower, kill everything. I think I am gonna need these boots, and then we're going to let's see. So I need to get these plat keys. I just need 6 plat keys so that I can get this Everbloom. And we can get 2 of them here. This thief is fine. I'm not taking levels because we're going to be leveling on Everbloom. I'm going to use a swap here and just burn a thief because we're going to be running really low on orbs here since we used a lot in the early game. So we'll just leave that guy behind. And this guy's... Let's see, am I coming back to this room? I think I'm never coming back to this room, so I'll just take the hit on that guy now. Am I coming back to this room? I don't think I am either. Um, in regular cleanup, you do want to get these badges and these drops. Like all this stuff is pretty good, but we're going to be really low on candles, and at the end of the map, there are a bunch of Eternals that you can get. These are basically like 200 candles each. So we're going to be trying to conserve all our candles to try to get all those Eternals. I'm never coming back to this room either. So I'll clear these enemies. I'm not ready to do these yet. I don't have the candles for that. I'm probably not opening this. So the next thing that we're going to do, we are coming back to this room, so it's perfectly fine to leave these enemies. We need to get a jump orb for that passive, and let's see if there's one that we can get around here. Sure. Pay a bit of HP for that. Alright, so then we'll swap him, kill the Plat Shadow, swap, and 2 jumps to leave, get the passive. Passives are good score, and we need that Plat key anyway. So that's going to be our Everbloom. And then we'll go ahead and grab the Fire Blade right now just for some value. Okay. So in a regular run, if you didn't need to do that leech to get the Violet Clown so early, you would do the Life Claymore afterwards, and then you do Life Claymore Everbloom for cleanup. Won't be an option for us, but we are going to get at least the Fire Blade for these levels. All right, and now that we have our final equipment, we are just going to sweep the tower, and that looks like this. Let's see. I'm not sure about that room yet. Let's let's just get everything that's exposed, and then I'll think about which enemies we're going to have to leave behind, because we are going to inevitably need to make some decisions. A really good run is capable of getting just everything in the whole tower, but we are not going to be able to get quite everything. So, alright, Kronbergs are zeroed. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the free enemies here. Will scale through these breakers. They will eventually be zeroed. We are coming back to this room so we can pay those 5 candles. We'll be coming back to this room. We don't have to do our winter key stuff yet. We have this spring orb that we got from the agent. So what we're going to do with that is we are going to go to the room below this, and we're going to spring that room. That'll save us a lot of keys that we don't really have access to right now. I'll kill these enemies. I'm going to pick up this badge because I don't want to pay the extra 5 candles to preserve it. And let's see. So this passive would be great to have. I probably can't get this passive. We'll see. Alright, so we'll get these 4 yellow keys, and then we'll just go ahead and Blizzard Spring. And now we'll just clear this room out. And this will get us a lot of candles and a lot of goodies. Alright. Okay. And then we're going to be going back up here. And I'm not sure if we're going to get this passive. Let me just go back to the regular tower, and I will figure that out in a little bit. I definitely want to pay a yellow for 4 candles and the swap. We can just punch this guy. We might be able to level up and reduce his damage, but he's not hitting us too bad right now. All right. I do want to get in here for these guys, but it might have to wait. And the reason for that is because um, we might run really low on keys, and I want to set up a last oath. So I'm just thinking about how I'm doing the very final part of the tower. These guys are almost zeroed, the breakers. I don't have to face tank them for 20k. We have Kron enemies up here we can kill. Let's just kill the breakers now. Oh, I left a candle behind. We definitely need every candle. All right. All right. I'm gonna come back for these guys later. Um, this is a tough room. Let's just go to this area now. We can safely shift D through here. Breakers are really close to just being totally neutralized. Let's just tank them for 700. This doesn't matter. There we go. And they're done. We hit the switch and we'll just shift D through the other side. And then we'll hit this switch and we'll jump back. Alright, and now these rooms that we left behind full of Kron enemies from before are going to start to pay off for us now. Don't get the badge yet. We don't need it. Shifty through this room. I don't have to make that decision yet. Alright, and I think that's most of our enemies done now. These enemies we can defeat. Shifty through this room. I left one room behind in the first area. Make sure I have all the enemies dead on this side. I think I cleared these guys out earlier. Yep, these are all done. Alright. So now we're going to set up our... Actually, let's go in here. This is a unlock we'll just do while we have all these candles. So that's Guardian Shield glitch. So that's a great unlock, especially for this tower. But we already finished the tower. It'll be useful in some other towers too. It's good in fill at lower resources. It's good in a lot of gates at lower resources. So we'll probably be using that quite a bit, honestly. Alright, so the way you get glory keys in this level is you have to Aurora these. So I'm just going to go ahead and burn one Aurora on these because I know this is always happening. I have 4 glories. So when I get 3 more and last oath, that'll be 12 glories, which will be, let's see, that's all of these glory blocks. So that's all sorted out. We just need to get a bunch of winners now. Then I'm going to set up my last oath, and then we'll do our final cleanup. So the way I'm setting up my last oath, I think this is just unrealistic. This is too expensive for us right now. Maybe at the very end we'll get that, but let's say I'm not coming back here, and let's just move on. All right, so I need to get a bunch of winner keys, and this is why I'm really nervous about our candle situation. Okay, let's see. Where are my plat keys? So I have 2 here. That one we could get with a pave. Alright, so our winner situation is kind of weird. If you had a slightly better last oath, if you had, the 4500 Sunstone Last Oath, you could get 6 keys. And 6 keys is a lot better than 5, because what this is going to look like for us is we have 3 keys. And when we get 5 additional keys, we're going to be 1 short. If we do this with 6 keys, we're going to be 1 short. We'll only have 11 keys. We won't be able to get an Eternal. So if we want all the Eternals, we need all of the winner's keys. So that also means, though, that we can cast Last Oath as soon as we get to 5 glories. Alright, so I think we simply don't have the candles to get all of our Eternals with the number of demos that we did. I mean, there are some more candles in this room. These guys drop candles as well. Because on this side over here, it is 200 candles each. So I think I have to abandon these glories, or these winners, and we're just going to be short by 1 Eternal. I think there's no way around that. Alright, so we're gonna need all of these winners. Alright, so we can actually do this now. And I'm going to cast Last Oath, and then I'm going to get the other winners. If I had the 6 key Last Oath, then I wouldn't have to sequence it like this. But since I don't have that, copying 3 is the same as copying 5. So we have to just give up 1 Eternal, and that'll let us get the platinum keys we need to get in and get the 3 more winners. So candles are going to get really, really tight here. I'm trying to think if I want some blue keys to double them. I think I'll buy 1. I think I'll buy 2, and that'll be all the blue keys we can afford. Let's see. One thing I want to do is kill the other violet clown, so that happens on this side. So I'm just going to, this will be a very small undo. We'll spend 1 glory key here, and then we're going to go back down here, and we're going to re-enter the violet clown room, and we're going to see if we can kill this guy with this claymore. We actually can't beat him. Wow. We're very close to beating him. Let's see if we can use a bunch of protects to get the stats to beat this guy. Alright, let's see. Oh, that's, we need to not move here. I was just spamming up here and it moved me, so I lost my sword. I could also buy a cane in the other room since I'm just undoing, so... Alright, there we go, that's enough. So, just buy a cane, it'll make this easier for you if you are missing some HP for this. So there's our Mystic Gate choice. Just want to get all the unlocks here. We'll undo from before we opened that claymore, before I went down here. Let's see where we are. Yes, this is where we want to be. So now we're going to be trying to source plat keys to double. We need to get 7 plat keys to get in here. So we need to double with at least 4. I do have 2 plat keys here that are reasonable to get. 1 plat key here that we can get. So that will be 5. So let's go ahead and do that. We have to be really careful about running out of candles here. Let's see. So we're gonna do this like this. I'm gonna hit this switch. And then I'm gonna pay 1 violet to get in here. I'm gonna pave for this platinum shadow. And then I'm going to... Let's see, a pave for a drop is decent value. Probably not going down here. We don't have the red keys for that. Now we're going to step on this switch. We're going to swap this guy to get in here without touching this switch. Pay 10 candles there. And I'm going to pay 2 jump orbs to get these cron enemies and to leave. Alright. Now I'm going to get this last platinum shadow, or this last key with a pave instead of the candles. Running out of paves, that's okay. And then I am going to go ahead and we'll cast Last Oath right now. Alright, so we have some keys to work with for cleanup now. Let me look at the Blizzard Orb situation. I have one more Spring Orb, so I can get this Blizzard Orb with... I won't be able to get this, actually. There's a Blizzard Orb here for 80 keys, for 80 candles, and a Blizzard Orb here for 90 candles. And there's a Blizzard Orb here that we're probably not going to go back for. Well, maybe we can now that we have these extra candles. So that maybe that's our plan. All right, so the next step is we're going to go into our last room and kill these enemies so we can just evaluate what we're going to do with our candles for cleanup. Alright, we'll use a swap orb to get into this side and get these candles. This is another great room to not demote because it has these cron enemies and those cron bergs. So we're getting that reward from managing to not demote that now. Alright, and we don't have to open up this bottom area actually since there's no candles down there, so we can just leave and come at that from the bottom area. Get a couple more blue keys. And we'll spend a red key to get access to these enemies. Level up again. Alright, now we're going to spend these plat keys and 200 candles, and we're just going to be content with 9 winners. The other winners would come from this whole chain, which is 300 candles even at the end, even if we reclaim in there. So we're just not going to be able to do that. We're just a couple... You know, we're not that far off, but we're not that close either. So not much we can do there. There's 2 more enemies in... Well, we can get some of these guys. So these ones down here are pretty good. I'd like to level up. You know, levels are really good in this map for end score. I'm not sure if we have the plat keys for those guys. Alright. So I think we want a Blizzard Orb and... Let's see. Well, we don't have to... Let's see if there's a good target for this Blizzard Spring. Like something with a lot of doors that we can open up. Maybe... No, not this one. We've already kind of gotten the value out of this room. Otherwise, that's a good Blizzard Spring. This one is probably our best bet still, even though we've opened up these doors. So let's go ahead and... I'm not sure if this is going to be better than a passive, actually, which we could get for these candles, but we'll just buy this Blizzard Orb, and we have the keys to get in here and fight these guys. So we'll spend the blue keys on this. And we'll spend 5 candles to get in here. finish off these cron enemies. 10 for a badge, I'm not sure if we want to do that. Alright. These guys are... Let's see. Let's see where these cron enemies are left hiding. Right, so we'll probably... This looks like what we're spending the rest of our plats on, is getting in here, getting these keys, and getting this orb cache. We could spend our red keys in there. This is pretty good value from paves, as a pave for an immortal and a couple meaningless enemies. Alright. So... These guys are pretty hard to access without opening these platinum doors. I guess I'm going to swap jump this. Let me see if we can get this passive over here since we have these candles to burn. I need the platinum to do that. I could actually... Let me see. What if I Blizzard Spring this room, and then I just use my paves for the cons and the glory? Let me see if there's any pave orbs. In fact, there's another couple pave orbs, we can do that. Alright, let's do it like that. I think this will be better. So, this is Blizzard Spring. And this is a jump, 2 jumps for the passive. Alright, and now we're done there. And we're done there. We're done here. We'll pay a jump for 10 candles, so we don't have to go there. Now we're going to finish up in the regular tower. And that looks like this. We want taunts. We can use our glory here. I think we're done with enemies. Alright, we're done with enemies. We'll take our glory. And we'll grab these Cont potions. Let's look for other continental potions that are left. Alright, nothing down here. There's some badges that I'd like to get, but, well, let's see what badges we can realistically get. We might be able to get some with reds. For 10 candles, I think I'm okay with that now, since we're not getting those last winners. The winners are a lot better value, but we are not going to be able to get those. I'd prefer to pay a pave for those badges than I would to pay... Like, this one red is what I'd pay for a badge. I don't really want to pay a blue and a red, but I guess I will. I need my paves for the other room. Cleanup and lit always feels really sloppy, and it feels like you never really get everything you want, so... you know, we're just not going to get everything we want. Alright, we don't really have... This is not an option. You know, we could have gotten these when we got the Lotus shoes, so that's something that probably should have happened, but it's okay. We're not going to go back for it now. Alright, so for the Blizzard Orb, I am going to Blizzard this room. This is very minor value, but it does let me get all of these enemies without paying keys, and I don't think there's a better use of the Blizzard Orb right now. Alright, so we're looking for... Okay, that is a possibility. Alright, this side is cleaned up. The drops of Shimmering Sky are also pretty good value, but we're not going to be able to afford all of those, so... We can wait on that badge because I'm going to be... Let's see here. It's better to pay the 2 boots like this. Actually, it's better just to pay a violet key, right? We have violet keys. We'll pave for the glory. And we'll pave for a Kant. We're going to use the the glory first. Then we'll pay for the Kant. That's unrealistic to get. Grab these badges for cleanup. Alright, let's check our badge situation here. There's another badge here. A blue for an immortal is probably pretty good value. Alright, let's check for comp potions. 2 here. So I don't really have the paves. So if I can get 2 paves, I'll get those last 2 comp potions. They are here. So I can't really afford to get another passive for 60, so I will just buy these paves and buy the cons with these. Pave and pave. I should have used some of these jump swaps on these goodies over here, but it's... Is it too late to go back? Yeah, it's too... I mean, it's too late to go back. It's a very minor score increase. We'll just be happy with what we have right now. We can spend them like this, just get some... Actually, I can buy these. I'm not going to use jumps anywhere else. I might as well use the jumps here just to use them. All right, and now let's just go spend our keys on random value. We can buy some immortals with our... Actually, instead of immortals, we will buy... Let's see, these give how much HP? Let's compare the value real quick. So these are better than immortals. We'll just buy these instead of immortals with our yellows. And then we'll buy these with our leftover violets. We can... I mean, he doesn't level us up, so there's no point in killing him. We can just buy these random value. Alright, next we are going to go ahead and use our guidance one more time. And we are going to just buy these, just to spend our keys. These won't level me up, so I don't want to use the red keys in there. Alright. We can use the swaps just to get like some extremely minor value in this place. This will be all our swap, swap, swap. At least we use them. Digs are infinite, so we can just do that. Sure. We'll get a drop for a yellow. We'll just buy drops for yellows. And for remaining candles, we can get these. Alright. That's pretty good. Buy these last 2 immortals for our violets. That's all our keys. And we'll call that pretty good. That's a reasonable cleanup done. So with all that in hand, we'll go to the end place, and we're going to lose one of these eternal potions. So we can't get that, but that's okay. We can, if you have the next level of Last Oath, it's like so much easier to get that. Alright, so now we have enough for this scoring equipment, which is a ton of stats. Alright, and we just, with all that in hand, we get this is actually our first Goddess Feather, so now we can start with the 1 mana on this stage if we did it again. This is actually one of the bigger things that we're missing from our gate, when we attempt our gate clears. So we'll get the Goddess Feather. And then you can see this is a 278, but it's not because this is not the actual clear tile. The actual clear tile is behind the streamer block, which we defeated long ago. So this one doesn't count our HP. We go up here, and we're going to end up with a 588 score. If we got that other Eternal, it would be 40 more. We'd get 628, but it wasn't in the candles for us today. So we'll be happy with our 588. This will more than double our sunstones. We break the 1000 sunstone mark with that. And, all things considered, I'm pretty happy with this, even though I wanted above 600. Lit is pretty hard, so doing it with these extremely low resources, we had to make a bunch of sacrifices, and that's where we lost the value in the end, is from that those winner keys that these drops are also pretty good. It would have been great to get up here, but hopefully in your run, you're able to get those winner keys and get that last Eternal, and you can get a better score than I did. There's tons of places in Lit. This is why Lit is one of my favorite towers, is that you can choose what sacrifices you can make. You can choose how much suffering you're willing to endure, and you're rewarded for that effort. So at the very least, we got all the unlocks in here, except for, correct me if I'm wrong again, I don't think this is actually in here. I think this is a lie. But we got all the other unlocks, which is really good. These last inflators for the first 3 towers here are very lucrative in Sunstones. Those are really easy towers to break with Last Inflator. Unfortunately, we don't have the base gate, so maybe we should take a trip to Final Tutorial and get those, just so we have access to these Last Inflator towers. But I'm not sure where I want to take us next. Again, if you have any suggestions, towers you want to see, or either because they're funny or you think they're hard or whatever, let me know in the comments, or you can message me on Discord also. Alright, that's going to do it for our video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was educational, informative, entertaining, and I hope that it gets all of you through Lit as well. Alright, have a great day, signing off.